All right, welcome. The relationship every taxpayer has with the government, it's like any other relationship, really. It has rules. So today, we're going to crack open that rule book and get a handle on the fundamental principles that decide how, when, and even where you get taxed. Okay, let's dive into this. So let's just jump right in with a question to get us started. Imagine this. You go through an entire year, you make all your financial moves based on the tax laws as they stand. Then, the next year, the government changes the rules. So, can they do that? Can they reach back in time and tax you based on a new rule for something you already did? The answer actually leads us straight to our very first principle. First up, we're digging into the absolute ground rules of the game. You can think of this as a sort of basic fairness doctrine. The tax system actually has some built-in protections designed to shield you, the taxpayer, from these totally unexpected curveballs. And the short answer to that question we just asked, it's generally no. And that's because of a core principle called prospectivity. It's a bit of a fancy word, but all it really means is that the state is supposed to look forward, not backward. Tax laws are built to apply to what you're going to do, giving you a stable set of rules to play by. So, how does this actually work in the real world? Well, let's look at what's called the prejudice rule. Imagine it's 2023, and the BIR issues an official ruling saying that this product X you sell is tax-free. Great, so you go ahead and sell it all year, acting in good faith based on that ruling. But then, in 2024, the BIR completely reverses its position. Can they come after you for your 2023 sales? Nope, because you relied on their official word. Changing the rules now would prejudice you. Your 2023 sales are protected. And this idea of fairness isn't just about looking forward, it's also about time limits. See, while the government's power to tax is pretty much absolute, its right to come after you for a specific tax isn't timeless. It's got a shelf life, an expiration date. And this is designed to give taxpayers what the law actually calls peace of mind. You shouldn't have to be looking over your shoulder forever. And here are those deadlines, the actual statute of limitations. For a normal assessment, say you just made an honest mistake. The government only gets 3 years from when you filed your return to send you an official demand letter. If they miss that 3-year window, they're out of luck. Now, once they do send that letter, a new clock starts. They have 5 years from that point to actually collect the money. The only time the clock gets much longer is in cases of outright fraud or if you just didn't file at all. Then it's 10 years, and that clock only starts ticking from the moment they discover what happened. All right, so we've got the timing down. Now let's talk strategy. This is where we get into that super fine line between what's a legal loophole and what's an illegal trap. It's all about the choices we make as taxpayers. Okay, this is probably one of the most important things to get right in all of tax law, the difference between avoidance and evasion. Think of it like this. Tax avoidance is playing the game smart. You're using the rule book, all the legal deductions, credits, and structures the law provides to legally lower your tax bill. That's allowed. Tax evasion, though? That's just cheating. That's throwing the rulebook out the window. It involves fraud, lying, hiding income, making up expenses, anything with what the law calls evil intent. One is smart, the other is a crime. All right, here's a term you've probably heard thrown around a lot: double taxation. We all worry about being taxed twice on the same thing. But here's the thing, and it's a huge catch. Just because you feel like you're being taxed twice doesn't actually mean it's illegal. The law is incredibly picky about this. So for double taxation to be the kind that's actually forbidden, the kind we call direct double taxation, you have to check off every single one of these boxes. It has to be on the very same subject, for the same purpose, levied by the same government authority, in the same location for the exact same time period, and be the same type of tax. It's a really, really high bar to clear. And get this, if even one of those 6 things isn't there, then the tax is totally fine. It's called indirect double taxation, and it happens all the time. I mean, think about the classic example. You earn a salary, and you pay income tax on it. Then you take that after-tax money, go buy something, and you pay VAT, right? You've been taxed twice on that same pool of money. But it's totally legal because the kind of tax is different. One's on your income, the other's on your consumption. Okay, this brings us to a really fundamental truth about how the tax system is built. When things get fuzzy, when there's any doubt, the government usually holds the winning hand. Let's look at the principles that kind of stack the deck in its favor. And this quote right here, it really sums up the entire philosophy of the system. In legal circles, it's a known fact. Tax exemptions are highly disfavored. They are seen as a special privilege, not a right. So why? Why are they so disfavored? It all comes down to something called the lifeblood theory. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Taxes are the lifeblood that keeps the government running. Without them, there are no public services, no infrastructure, nothing. So because they are that essential, whenever there is any doubt or ambiguity in a law about a tax exemption, that doubt is always resolved in favor of the government and against the person trying to claim the exemption.
So let's put this into practice with a scenario. We all know hospitals are generally tax exempt. But what if a hospital decides to open up a commercial shopping mall right inside its main building? Is the income from all those retail shops also tax exempt? The answer is almost certainly no. The exemption is interpreted narrowly. It's for the hospital's core mission, not for its side gig as a mall operator.
And here's another one that really shows you that taxes are just different. Let's say a government agency owes you money, maybe for a contract you did, and at the same time, you have a tax bill due. Can you just call them up and say, hey, you owe me, I owe you, let's just call it even, and subtract what you owe me from my tax bill? The answer is a hard no. That's the no set-off rule. A tax isn't just a regular debt. It's considered a sovereign duty. You can't just barter with it. All right, for our last section, let's talk about geography. Location. Because a taxable event, it has to happen somewhere, right? And that where is everything when it comes to deciding who gets to tax it. The fancy legal term for this is situs of taxation. But really, all that means is who gets to tax this thing? Which country or city has the right to collect? And the answer always comes down to where the so-called taxable event actually took place. And the rules for figuring this out are actually pretty logical. For physical stuff, it's easy. A piece of land, it's taxed where the land is. A tangible thing, like your car, it's taxed where the car is physically located. It gets a little trickier with intangible things, like a debt someone owes you. In that case, the situs is the legal home or domicile of the owner. And for services, it's all about where the work actually got done.
Let's look at this example because it makes the rule for services super clear. You have a Filipino consultant who flies to Japan to repair a machine for a Japanese client. Now, even if that consultant gets paid into their bank account back in the Philippines, the service, the actual repair work, happened in Japan. That means the situs of that income is Japan. It's where the work was done that matters, not where the money lands.
So, after going through all of this, the timing, the fairness rules, the legal strategies, and the government's built-in advantages, it leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? Is taxation just a simple sovereign duty, something we do as part of being a citizen? Or is it more like a complex strategic game with its own set of rules, power dynamics, and loopholes you have to master to play well? The truth is, as we've seen today, it's absolutely a bit of both.